These are also factory. This is what Gibson came up with. Kahler lock does not work with the Gibson V, this style, 3x3. The SG is okay, not ideal, but this angle is so extreme that it actually sits on the outsides of the Kahler string block, so this was necessary. Gotta use the reinforced plain strings. After you take the fine tuners out, loosen this guy off. You'll feel that this is loose now. Once that's loose, see those screws walk and make shavings and they get locked into place. Alright, let's take these side screws out. And we can take that out and lift this bar off. Weird, that's rubbing a hole in the brass. Okay, well, let me take these 3 screws out. That'll lift right off. I just like to get some of the finger cheese out of here. End saddles have a little tooling done to it. I think that's because there's something with the casting of this slot. And this will pull out. And you get your sister's toothbrush. Copied a little homework from this bar. These saddles get like zippers in them from the string and they can actually ratchet. It helps to put steel rollers for the wound strings because the steel won't start to deform from the strings. It's harder. And you can use the brass ones for the thin strings. Also for the flyer, if you put this cam in it, you'll get the arm clutch and better tone, personally. And there's a screw upgrade that I do, but I don't know. We'll get to that. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. Also got some wear residue on the cam and the frame rail there. So maybe it was just kind of sitting in there, a little cockamamie. And these bearings were bad for sure. So if you have this screw that holds this bar out, you can stick it in here. It's almost the perfect diameter and run that bearing. If you feel while you spin it like this, the bearing's bad. Some plays okay, but you don't want it to be super gravelly and like clunked out. Otherwise those need replaced. Mega. Picking up where the others have failed. So close. Not gonna work. Just gonna hog that out a little bit. Good, it don't work. Every thug needs a lady. Ah. Well, Steven, is it all in here? This has been messed with, not only by me, but just somebody else, and these aren't quite right. So we got the right thing, and we're putting that SPC in.
gonna try to save these strings. They're not that old, so what I do is I take the fine tuners out. And that way when you loosen the strings off to pull them out of the hooks, there's just a little bit more clearance to get them out. Makes it a lot easier. To kind of go a little further on what I was saying about the Gibson headstock. See how these kind of don't necessarily go through the lock straight? On this G string, if this lock isn't super tight, this will slip. And this seems extreme. See how it's on the edges of the lock? Because of the angles of the tuner to the nut. But the Gibson's even more so. So it's like these strings are totally pulled on the outer edges of this lock, so when the clamping plate comes down, it doesn't even grab the strings, so it just kind of slips through there very easily. Not going on there. So this is what we were trying to do. The one I have is quick connect, but you can do the same thing. If you look, this white's going to be the input, this green's going to be the output, black is ground, and red is power. So we're keeping the volume, putting that in place of the tone. I think this is one of those things that only Gary A. Donahue can really get behind and understand. Alright, this thing. I'm gonna pull this one out too. And now it makes a lot of sense. Those were broken off of there. It was just held in there with the screw. Probably got dropped with a cord in it and broke those. There's no like real support. I don't have any XLR cables here, so I'm gonna make one. Got it.